it's gonna feel like a lot of hair because it's long, like it's gonna get stuck in your armpits, I'm sure. And I always like to let some piece, not that much, Amanda. You could you could, oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to show you one of the longest heat-friendly synthetic wigs that we carry at Chiquel. Look at this, I have to back up so that you guys can see how long it actually is because it doesn't fit in the frame, but oh well, we'll make it work. But before I jump into this lovely wig, I'm going to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. Okay, but I think I was talking a little too fast there in that intro, so I'm gonna slow it down a little bit so I don't get so tongue-tied here. Okay, so this is Stay the Night by Raquel Welch, and it is obviously a very long, heat-friendly synthetic wig. Now, before I jump into any details about this wig, I'm going to talk about heat-friendly fibers, which I always like to talk about just to make sure you are aware of what heat-friendly fibers are like so that you can make that executive decision if this is something that is gonna work for you. So, heat-friendly fibers, I love for a couple of reasons. I love them because they are not as shiny as your plain synthetic fiber. So they're gonna just be a little bit more dull and matte looking, a little bit more like human hair than you know, the shiny synthetic doll hair that some of you might notice on some synthetics. So that is probably the biggest reason I gravitate towards heat-friendly synthetic fibers, because they just look more realistic. Another reason that I love heat-friendly synthetic fibers is because you can change up your style if you want. So if you are someone who does enjoy styling, maybe adding a little bit of curl, going from wavy to straight, just, you know, changing things up, heat-friendly fibers are fun to do that with. Now, that doesn't mean you have to. Heat-friendly fibers don't mean like you need to change the style, but you are able to a little more easily with heat-friendly fibers. So those are two reasons I love them. Now, here are a few reasons why you might not love them and why a lot of people out there tend to stay away from heat-friendly synthetic fibers. So they are going to get frizzy at the ends pretty quickly. And if I'm being honest, Raquel Welch's heat-friendly fiber, I find it tends to happen pretty quickly. Like within a couple of wears, it's like, oh gosh, it's a little frizzy. You will also find that not only do they get a little frizzy and frazzly quickly, they will tangle. And that is especially true for longer heat-friendly synthetics. So this one, clearly, it is very long, which means that you are likely going to come across some tangles. Another thing that heat-friendly fibers do is they get a bit clumpy. So when you get it out of the box, they're usually coated with a nice silicone coating, making it nice and soft and supple and luxurious, which is amazing out of the box. But then after several wears, and after some washes, that wears off and then you're left without it. So when it's not fresh out of the box anymore, it starts to clump up. So when I say clump up, it kind of like, I don't know, it just clumps. I don't know how else to explain it. It just gets clumpy. And it doesn't flow as nicely and the fibers don't separate as easily. So that's something else to be aware of with heat-friendly synthetic fibers. Now, some things that you can do to help with all of that is to use regular heat maintenance on these fibers. So I would typically, especially with my longer ones, spray it with some water, and I prefer taking my hot air brush, like my blow dryer brush, and going through the ends, and I will typically do that after every couple of wears just to help keep those ends at bay so they're not so frizzy and so they look a little bit more smooth. Something else you can do is maybe use like a silicone spray, like Simply Stylin' silicone spray. Use it just ever so slightly, spray just a couple sprays, work it through, and that's gonna help them feel a little bit softer as well. And that's also gonna help a little bit with the tangles. Okay, now that I've given my spiel about heat-friendly synthetic fibers, which I just feel like everyone needs to know before they purchase, I'm gonna start talking about the actual wig itself. So Stay the Night is made on Raquel Welch's Lux Lite cap, which is a cap that they have designed within the past year or so, I would say, if I'm doing my math correctly. And honestly, it is one of my favorite caps by Raquel Welch, like 100%. These Lux Lite caps have the lace front. So this lace front is one that extends a little bit further down into the ear tab here, which is always nice. So it doesn't just like cut off at your upper temples there. So it extends into your ear tab. Now you will notice that on these darker wigs, these darker colors, the knotting is always a little bit more visible. That being said, Raquel Welch does a good job of making these knots smaller, so they are not horrible. It's pretty good in my opinion for a lace front with a dark fiber. Sometimes you can see some really bad ones out there, especially with the dark colors, but Raquel Welch does a pretty good job. So let me come up close, a little closer here. Obviously you can see them, but you know what? This is not something that I find that, you know, passerbys or just, you know, other people zone in on. It's actually pretty good for a synthetic dark-haired lace front. And I should note that I am wearing the color RL4/10SS Shaded Ice Java, which is a nice medium to dark brown. It's like a neutral brown, I'd say. And then we do have some lighter neutral brown highlighted throughout. It's nice and subtle. This is one of my favorite brunettes by Raquel Welch. It's a nice and subtle highlight, but it is there. And then of course, this is a rooted color. Now, obviously this is a dark color to begin with. So it's like, how can there be roots on this? Because it's already dark, but they're there. You can almost not even see them, but really what it does, it gives you the illusion of a sort of a grown out highlight. You can kind of see how the highlighting of that lighter brown starts a little bit lower, so it's just a bit more smudged into the root there. Anyways, Shaded Ice Java, really great color. This is actually really close to what my natural bio hair used to look like when I had hair. And it's so funny because I often have people very vocal telling me how much they don't like me as a brunette. And I'm just like, oh, well then, my whole life was a lie because I had dark brunette hair until I was 22 years old, so, oh goodness. And people often seem perplexed when I tell them I'm a brunette. I just feel like the world sees me as a blonde. Annie hoozles, let's carry on. We also have a left monofilament part on this. So that means we have about an inch of parting space right there. So you can part it on your left. However, the lovely thing about this Lux Lite cap is that even though you have the left monofilament part here, the right side is a hand-tied top. So you could oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. You could part it on the right-hand side and it's still gonna look pretty good. So that's what the hand-tied top looks like. It's gonna look just a little bit different than your left monofilament part. The hand-tied top, they are sewn more or tied into more clusters here. So the knotting is gonna look a little bit bigger, but this is just to show you that you could part it on the right-hand side or in the center if you truly wanted to. All right, let's figure this out now. There we go. This also has a hand-tied cap. So what that means is that it's gonna allow the fibers to move a lot more freely than if it were a wefted cap. So imagine this is your cap and this is your fiber and it's sewn on like this onto the cap because it's hand sewn on. So it's gonna allow the fiber to move all the way around. Whereas if it was a weft, then that means it's machine sewn on into rows. So pretend this is your weft and this is your fiber. It's just like machine sewn on like this. And it really can only move back and forth. If it tries to go up, it's gonna go all funny and reveal your open wefting. So hand-tied tops are really great for natural movement and just a comfortable cap. Something else you will find with hand-tied caps is that there's no permatease in them. So permatease is that short-haired crimping effect done at the root of a synthetic wig. Usually you'll find permatease on open wefted caps to help with the style, give volume, and also to help hide some wefting. But hand-tied caps have no permatease. So you're gonna notice that this one lays very flat to your head. And this is also a nice lower density. So obviously it's long, and when you have this long layered hair, it's gonna feel like a lot of hair because it's long, like it's gonna get stuck in your armpits, I'm sure. But overall, the density on this is pretty lightweight. If you are someone who has been experiencing hair loss, I feel like no matter what wig you put on, it's gonna feel like a lot of hair. But this one is not too bad. So hopefully you won't feel too overwhelmed by the amount of hair on this. You might just feel overwhelmed by the length of it. Okay, let me spin for you so you can see this whole thing. I'll back up even. Okay, so obviously we do have some longer layers on here. You're gonna find the front is 16.5 inches long, so it's nice and long. You're also gonna find that from the nape. So back here where it's sewn onto the nape, that's also gonna be 16.5 inches long as well. On the sides here, you're gonna get up to 18 inches of length, and same from the crown. That's gonna also be 18 inches. And at the back, it's gonna be 19 inches. So we do have a nice long wig here for you. Now, obviously with this style, you will be able to put her up if you want to. So you could put it in a ponytail. I always suggest leaving some hair in front of your ears, because once you put it behind your ears, if you have no hair like me, then you can tell it's a wig. If you do have hair, you can always pull some of your hair out and blend it in, and that's just gonna give it a better hairline and make it look like it's growing right from your head. But for me, as someone who doesn't have hair, I would keep it in front of my ears, and I always like to let some piece, not that much, Amanda, just a little bit of pieces. Oh gosh, where, here we go. Nope, still not there, oh dear. I would typically let some pieces dangle in the front. That being said, I don't love how long these pieces are. They're so droopy. So for me, I personally wouldn't wear this one up and back as much. This would be like my going out wig, like let me live my hair dreams with it down. But you can put it up if you want to. Okay, I feel so lucky to be able to show you another color in this wig, and this is the color RL16/22SS Shaded Iced Sweet Cream. This is gonna be like a near platinum blonde color with some medium brown rooting. If you are familiar with perhaps Bombshell Blonde by Beltress, this is a similar color to that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, and then we're gonna take a look at the inside of the cap. All right, I look like a completely different person in this color. This is quite platinum for me, but it's kind of fun to be able to switch it up, isn't it? Okay, I know I just said this is very similar to Bombshell Blonde by Beltress, which it is, especially this whole platinum bit here. But I should mention that the rooting on Shaded Ice Sweet Cream here is gonna be darker than Bombshell Blonde. Bombshell Blonde has quite a lighter root than this one. Okay, now that that's on, let me just give you a quick tour of this Lux Lite cap. So here's that lovely signature lace front extending into your ear tab. There's that left monofilament part. And then like I said, on the right side here, we're gonna have the hand tied portion. The rest of this cap is pretty much all hand tied. It's nice and stretchy on the outsides too, which is great because it allows this cap to fit a large range of cap sizes. This is said to be more of a petite average size. I'm a petite size, and I do find it fits pretty well. I could bring in the adjusters a little bit, and there is some extra bulk in the cap. It's not huge on me though, and it works pretty well. But this also would be great for an average size person, and I feel like the stretch is stretchy enough to work for an average large also. So I do find that this cap is a great cap for a lot of different ranges. In the bottom here, we do have a few rows of closed wefting as well. Something neat about this cap is that it does have silicone ear tabs and an extended silicone nape. However, you can see how the stitching on this, maybe, I don't know if you can see, the stitching on these, the silicone is quite large, and you can super easily get a seam ripper or scissors and get rid of that stitching and take the silicone off to reveal some velvet. So if you are not a fan of the silicone, then you don't need to keep it and you can take it off if you want to. Okay, you guys, I think that is pretty much all I have to tell you about Stay the Night. It is really a beautiful wig, and if you are someone who's prepared to do the maintenance on heat-friendly synthetic fibers, then I think you will love this. Oh dear. Anyways, I would love to know if you are into these long hairstyles or if this is maybe just a little bit too long for you. Is this one that you think you would try? Or might you pass on this one? If you want to hear a little bit more about Stay the Night, a long time ago, I did do a bit of a comparison between Stay the Night, Scene Stealer, and Mesmerize to show you 3 different long Raquel Welch styles. So you can go take a look at that one if you want to sort of see the differences between those 3 caps if you're just trying to decide. Okay, you guys, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.